The world's central banking system has collapsed. The banks are throwing money over their shoulders while they run for cover. In the new economic age ushered in by the pandemic, central banks around the world have vastly expanded monetary activism far beyond anything seen before. The U.S. Federal Reserve has expanded its balance sheet by nearly $7 trillion in just a few months, and as far as anyone can tell, there is no end in sight. In the words of Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, the Fed isn't even thinking about when it will think about raising interest rates above zero. But central bank activism may soon be moving in very new directions. To deal with tens of millions of newly unemployed workers and the reality that entire commercial sectors are no longer viable, the banks are currently looking at ways to put newly created money directly into the hands of consumers. Against a backdrop of a weak economy, this is a clear recipe for stagflation. We are the most indebted nation with the most indebted citizens. America is feeling really scummy. The country is like an Instagram post of a $20 martini that someone used their credit card at 18% interest to buy. Since the dollar is a debt instrument and there are debts galore as far as the eye can see, it is inflation that is the all-too-real risk. The dollar is hovering near a 2-year lows. M1 money supply of the United States has increased by 64.5% since the beginning of 2020. There is no history for this. None. This would seem to be the more important medium and long-term inflationary risk rather than any technical short-term trader's bounce. Of course, the dollar has lost lots of value over the decades from inflation, but soon, you'll need $20 or more just to buy a burger. I see where restaurants have been going bankrupt, and some are going out of business. When teenagers are getting paid $10 to $15 an hour to flip burgers and cost $100 or more to take the family out to a restaurant, it's no surprise many are closing their doors from the virus and folks not able to afford these high prices. We're losing businesses because of all the asinine politicians on power trips reactions to the pandemic. The whole idea is to end small businesses permanently. Get rid of all the small businesses, and voila! You control the means of production simply by reining in a few big conglomerates. The Fed created crashes so that it can buy real assets pennies on the dollar. This is how the Fed owned the world. Middle-income people can't afford more taxation. We are already taxed to death at every level of government. Living costs go up double digits annually. Fed numbers are propaganda. Can't absorb that on flat or 2% wage increases for decades. People are still under the illusion that this is all not intentional. What you should be doing actually is escaping the system before it traps you forever. Get away from the cities, money out of fiat, tiny house, land, grow food, beater car, no debt. Live free. If you don't act now, you will regret it. Remember that the Titanic started sinking slowly until it was too late, and you all know what happened. U.S. economy is in the stage where the Titanic already struck the iceberg, and the furnaces were the first hit. 2021 will be the year we start hearing the musicians play their last song. Pretty soon you will look back and say, I can't believe I didn't buy more gold below $2,000. Welcome back to the Atlantis Report. You are here for your daily dose of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please take a second to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to also hit the notification bell. Many of you have asked me where they can buy silver and gold bullion. You will find in the description box the links where you can buy American Silver Eagle, silver bars, or rounds. I highly recommend that you start stacking some silver bullion for the future. The Federal Reserve isn't making mistakes, they know exactly what they are doing and for whom they are doing it. The Fed is privately owned. Each move they make is to benefit their owners, not the American people. The Fed knows the truth but is playing politics to deceive the public and protect the dollar globally, but it's too late to recover. This pandemic is a smokescreen designed to hide the greatest transfer of wealth ever. It's all planned, just follow the money. When the government prints money out of thin air, it's called a stimulus package. When you print money, it's called counterfeit. When the government confiscates your money, it's called taxes. When the mob confiscates your money, it's called racketeering. When the government conspires against its people, it's classified. When you conspire against your government, it's treason. When the government kills people, it's war. If you kill someone, it's murder. If you behave the way your government does, you would be in prison. Liberal, Tory, same old story. If you vote, you are the problem, just follow the money. Sadly, the police protect government and enforce dreadful policy, they are one and the same. It's all fake, all lies, all planned. All government, central bankers, police, policy enforcers, teachers, nurses, fire, mass education equals propaganda, mind control. Sick stuff. Government bureaucrats getting full pay to dance, clap, laugh at all of us. Big government, greedy public sector and unions. They are laughing at us daily. We need to get back to work. And now bloody governments is bankrupting private business globally, destroying our livelihood, while parasites in government, police, teachers get full pay. Governments and the mainstream media have a vested interest to keep people living in fear, stress, worry, anxiety, control. Stocks aren't going to save you. You think you can protect your wealth from inflation in the stock market, but it is all coming down. Bonds are soon going to collapse and the dollar with it as banks collapse the equity markets. Speculators are betting big with record shorts on the long bond, and the Fed will create inflation by QE, rates will go higher and bonds will collapse. They want equity markets to go higher, but everyone is already in. With record shorts on bonds, they have not been able to push yields higher, and they started to short the dollar also with record shorts. The Fed is allowed to buy stocks and corp bonds, essentially nationalize corporations. Theoretically, their profits would support MMT. However, it's well proven that states cannot efficiently operate anything, much less a for-profit enterprise that requires individual accountability and proper incentives across the entire workforce from C-suites to mailroom. In the end, socialism degrades all productivity, thus profitability, to the lowest common denominator: uninspired, unmotivated, unaccountable workers killing time each day to draw their daily bread, oblivious to PL. That's bureaucracies for you. Unemployment is rising as they push for total lockdowns. Banks are not lending in this environment. Stimulus and eviction moratoriums end this year. Liquidity is drying up and being sucked out of the real economy by the Fed. Banks using their own liquidity to supply QE. We are in a debt crisis where more debt stimulus is doing more harm than good. Powell should have said we are destroying the economy by buying up everything. We are printing an unprecedented amount of money and creating liquidity as the lockdowns are destroying more businesses and job losses, which banks will suffer more losses on existing loans, and all hell will break loose as we enter the Great Depression in 2021 or 2022. Depending on who you believe, but it is coming, and the US will crash and burn as the Fed moves rates zero-bound and loses control of their monetary base. Hence we are moving to replace the existing socialist Keynesian debt-based system with the Great Reset, which will also fail but destroy Western culture and its economies in the process. The new currency will be backed by money, i.e. gold, when the dollar, which is currently dying, is finally made worthless due to Fed-induced hyperinflation. The dollar also has to crash to implement the new currency, Fed coin. With the new digital dollar named Fed coin, the Fed can lock down your funds and send you a note: you have not bought your daily allocation of stocks today, please refrain from any and all other purchases until your stock allocation is complete. Their plans are becoming more evident by the day, and they must be looking to get the entire world rioting. People are going to lose it when they see the coming inflation. All fiat currencies eventually reach their true value, zero. Historical fact. History tells us that, based on what the Fed Reserve did, promising that QE would only be temporary, the federal income tax, when it was first implemented, was only a temporary measure to raise money for war. But, those living back then found out how badly politicians and their close banking friends could lie. History constantly repeats itself. Any promise made on either the Republican or Democratic side will eventually be a lie in disguise, no matter how much whipped cream and cherries they put on top of it. The dollar is just another fiat currency, and it will go where all fiat goes, eventually worthlessness. Reserve currency status will be lost because nobody will accept the dollar as payment. The Fed will continue creating multitudes of trillions of dollars, and hyperinflation will ensue due to the madness of the Fed's QE policy. I have zero faith in fiat because it isn't a store of value, so I'll stick with silver and gold and see where I stand when the dollar crashes. The dollar's collapse is imminent, and this scam of a debt-based monetary system will be replaced with a currency, most likely digital, that's backed by gold, because gold is money, nothing else. The gold standard worked just fine until FDR and Nixon ended it, FDR with his theft of gold and Nixon with decoupling the dollar from gold. Keep it simple. Fed printed money. Fed will continue printing money. Fed will continue to keep rates low till 2023. The dollar will collapse. Have 20 to 30% of your portfolio in gold and silver and 5 to 10% in miners. Sit back and wait. Might be a few months. Might be a couple years, but in the end you will have money, whereas all friends and family who did not follow precious metals strategy will have nothing. Relax, eat well, exercise, get some sun, strengthen your immune system, breathe, enjoy life. Easy peasy. See why we are in this mess now? Just follow the money. All government, police, teachers, all debt, every day, all lies, they are ruining our lives, and they get paid to do it. The government's primary goal: to grow and enrich itself. All while pretending it cares about you. This was the Atlantis report. Please like, share, leave me a comment, subscribe. And please take some time to subscribe to my backup channels. I do upload videos there too. You'll find the links in the description box. You will also find a PayPal link if you want to make a donation. Thank you wholeheartedly to all those of you who have already donated. Stay safe and healthy, friends.